You know, guys, for as much trash as I talk about Call of Duty and the community and the developers and especially Activision, I still have this weird sort of unconditional love or interest in the Call of Duty scene and community just based on all of the drama and the BS and the garbage that happens in the community. It's very fun for me to talk about, but that doesn't go without saying there are times where we find ourselves coming to extreme conclusions. And yes, I am talking about this whole Nick Merks situation that just happened the other day. And for as serious of a topic a lot of people are making this out to be, I just need to remind you guys, just at the end of the day, we are discussing a video game. We are discussing a content creator by the name of Nick Merks, who, yes, he said something that a lot of people perceived as outlandish, as a bit immature, maybe a little stupid on the internet. And personally, if I were Nick Merks, I probably would not have spoken up about anything, but it is his choice, and that is something that I want to make very clear. I am somebody who advocates for saying absolutely whatever the flying fuck comes to mind, and if anybody is living proof of just say whatever the fuck you want, it is the Scadmaster. You guys are familiar with my channel. I quite literally just spew out the most absurd garbage at any time that I want. I can spit out something real, I can give you guys real life advice, I can make comedic jokes, I could say things that are extremely offensive and or outlandish. And that's just the way things go on this channel, and I pride myself in being able to just talk, because that's what I like to do. And when it comes to this entire situation with Nick Merks, I will say again, I personally would have stayed away from this topic entirely on the internet, but it is his choice to talk about whatever he wants, and it just so happens this time he kind of crossed over a boundary that other people had set up. What I will say though, I don't think this was Activision's place to speak about anything. And it's not because Activision's stance on this was incorrect or that they were offending somebody. I don't really care about any of that. If you guys want my honest thoughts on this, no matter what side I take right now, if I take the side of Nick Merks, if I take Call of Duty side, if I take no side, I am offending somebody. And that's just something that comes with the territory of talking and having a platform. So for all intents and purposes, I'm gonna keep it consistent with my channel. Activision has absolutely no right in the world to have any stance against this or for this. This came out from Charlie Intel the other day. He says, "It appears Activision has removed Nick Merks' bundle from the Warzone and MW2 store this evening. Activision has not commented on why it has been removed, but the removal of this bundle comes a day after Nick Merks' recent comments about the LGBT+ community." And very shortly after, Call of Duty's official Twitter responded to Charlie Intel, saying, "Due to recent events, we have removed the Nick Merks operator bundle from the Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone store. We are focused on celebrating Pride with our employees and our community." And look, if you are on the side of Call of Duty, then yes, I can see how this message seems, like in favor of you guys. I completely understand. And if you're on the side of Nick Merks, I can see how some of you guys might see this and say, hey, wait a second, that's kind of fucked up. I understand both sides. I'm not choosing either side. I'm just saying I understand both sides. And let me tell you, from my perspective, I do not think Activision should have a say in this. Now, why do I think that? Guys, let me take you back to a very special video of mine on this channel that I can honestly say was probably the uprising of my channel. This is the video that I would argue put me on the quote-unquote map. The video is titled "A Message to Activision," and while I did this as a satirical joke, breaking Vanguard in half and bringing it over to Activision's offices and leaving it at their front door with a kind message, there was a deep-rooted message within this video aside from the humor and aside from the comedic aspect of it. I also in this video talked for a great length of time about how fucked up of a company Activision is. No matter if they're supporting Call of Duty, if they're with Activision Blizzard and it's Overwatch, they're crossing into other games like Diablo, I think Activision as an entire entity has no right talking about supporting any type of group, especially if they want to make this whole like, hey, I'm protecting a minority group, which look, I am in favor of. I'm in favor of just trying to accept everybody. That's the way I've always been, except for fucking gooch lickers, of course. But in the real world, I like to be somebody who just is accepting of whoever the fuck you want to be. I don't give a fuck what it is. Just be cool and I'll treat you like you're cool. Activision is trying to put up this whole persona online, but let's not forget that Activision as a company company are the same people behind somebody, one of their own employees that they're claiming to want to protect and share pride with, who has taken their life due to the harassment that they felt within closed doors at Activision. Activision is not a clean company in the slightest, and if we want to be completely honest, if we want to talk about real world shit, not many corporations are very upfront and crystal clear and or pure. Just not very many, if any at all. And if you want me to take it even a step further, these motherfuckers harass women on a constant basis. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, this is not the video where I'm going to educate you on everything. I highly suggest you research this. I highly suggest you look into some of the controversies and some of the lawsuits that have hit Activision. And even myself, I put out a tweet in response to this entire situation with Nick Merks. By the way, if you don't follow the Scadmaster, this is what I said. I'm not saying shit about shit when it comes to Nick Merks' opinion, but if that's the route Call of Duty is taking, then you better keep that same exact energy for the shit stain that runs your company at Bobby Cosby. I like consistency, and that is all. This is the problem that I have with the people that are quote unquote trying to cancel Nick Merks. It's not the fact that they're canceling Nick Merks for something that they found offensive. If they find it offensive, they have every right to express themselves the way they want to. I don't give a fuck about that part. What I give a fuck about are people who pick and choose. This is how I feel in real life everywhere. If you want to cancel Nick Merks, fair play, express yourself how you want to, even if some people think you look stupid doing it. But if this is the route you're taking, you're not going to talk about Nick Merks and completely leave Bobby Cosby out of the equation and Activision as an entire company. The fact that they're even profiting from the revenue from a Nick Merks bundle to begin with. If you know who and how many people are pocketing the money from the Nick Merks bundle, I promise you, you would think twice about this entire situation. Now, before people get this twisted and think, oh my god, Fooly is siding with Nick Merks and he doesn't like Activision, he's not in support of X, Y, and Z, let me just stop you right there. Nick Merks having a bundle in Call of Duty is something that I was already in disapproval of. But just from my perspective, as a content creator myself, as somebody with a platform, if I had just signed an agreement with Call of Duty and I allowed myself to be an operator in their game, I am not going online and talking politics about anything. If these are Activision's views on this particular topic, I'm not talking about this online. Get on a fucking burner. Talk about it however you want with whoever you want, but if you have a platform, make better decisions. That's it. If you're placing yourself in a certain environment and you know that you probably shouldn't talk about X, Y, and Z, don't talk about X, Y, and Z and not expect a fucking consequence. This goes both ways. I look at both parties. I look at Activision, I look at Nick Merks, and I say to both of them, you guys are making weird ass fucking decisions, I'm not gonna lie. But here's another bone I have to pick with Activision. To the people who have already purchased a bundle, what the fuck is happening to these people? Are they just gonna keep the operator of somebody that this company perceives as a bigot or as somebody who is toxic to the community and non-representative of X, Y, and Z groups? Because if they're gonna completely remove this guy off of the face of the planet on their game, you better give these people their fucking money back. I think this came out from Birdman. He says, surely if they really gave a fuck, they would refund all the skins people already bought and not just keep those profits, right? Remember, we're talking about Activision, so if Activision is profiting off of somebody that they're willing to protect their community from, then surely you should give all of this money back and not profit from somebody that you're viewing as an enemy. But we all know Activision, guys. Like I said, Activision is no fucking saint. And this is what I think a lot of people online misperceived because they don't actually keep up with Activision as a company the way I do or the way other content creators do. They might look at Activision like fucking heroes. They're not fucking heroes, even if they did something that is in your favor, in your benefit. These motherfuckers got skeletons in their closet everywhere. The other thing that people need to stop picking and choosing on is what they perceive as something that can get you canceled. Because this comes out from the MW2 Ghost online, and I think Blame Truth also talked about this. Call of Duty removed Nick Merks' bundle. Fair play, but this is also Call of Duty, and just on first glance, this might look extremely offensive. They had this old campaign back in, I think it was COD 4 and or MW2, most likely MW2, where they had this entire advertisement called Fight Against Grenade Spam. And if you take the first letter of all of those and create the acronym for it, then you would know why exactly this entire advertisement to begin with is offensive. And I'm not telling you guys I find it offensive, but I completely understand if this other person finds it offensive. My whole thing is, if they're finding this entire Nick Merks situation offensive, then you better find this offensive too and hold Activision accountable the exact same way. You're not picking and choosing. That's the only thing that I have a problem with when it comes to cancel culture. If you want to hold Nick Merks accountable, fair play. Just make sure you are not painting Activision as some sort of fucking hero, because they are not. And if you're not somebody who's too acclimated or familiar with this community, with Activision specifically, then perhaps you should research on Activision and on Bobby Cosby and exactly why I fucking call him Bobby Cosby and not Bobby fucking Kotick. In addition to that, I didn't even think about this to begin with, but my homie The Dynamite talked about this in his recent video, and you guys should definitely check it out because he did a great job bringing this up, and I didn't even think of it, and I'm the fucking scad master. Why did Call of Duty come to the defense of this on Charlie Intel's tweet to begin with so quickly and address this situation as quickly as fucking possible? But when it came to the issues on Black Ops Cold War, they were radio silent for about 2 weeks. How about all the hackers that we've been talking about? And this is not so much real life, this is more so in the game when it comes to communication from this fucking company that we know more than a lot of these other people online know. We have been trying to get a hold of Activision for years. 4 years now that Activision has been spewing us the exact same garbage that we have had problems with. Issues that we've seen. Let's not forget about that one flag that was in this game that I don't even know what happened to it, but a lot of people called it out and there was controversy around it. Did Activision address it? I don't even know. Their customers that give them money had their IPs at risk in one of their recent games in Cold War from just 2 years ago, and Activision did not say a word until like yesterday. Once again, picking and choosing where their priorities are at, what they're talking about, what they're addressing, and that is not the way to go about things as a company that has so many different controversies. If you want to talk about one of your controversies, talk about the other shit too. But that's gonna do it for me today, guys. I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. I would ask which side you're on, but I know how that goes in the comments section, so all I'm gonna say is just give me your thoughts and opinions down below. Try not to make it this entire big ass war in the comments, but if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notifications to stay up to date with my newest videos, and yeah guys, it's been the boy Fooly. Have yourselves a good one. I'm out of here. Toodles.
It's been a very long time since the weekend. It's been a very long time and I'm weak. It's been a very long time since you seen me. Don't know